Greetings and welcome to Project Pandora. I am Darkling and this of course is Ark Survival Evolved. Today we'll be finishing off the sea pen, so hopefully we'll get that sorted today. I've got a few things to do. I'll have to add a dynamic gate in there somewhere to put large amounts in, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And from there we'll probably go on to the tally pad for the golem storage. So stick around and hopefully you'll see something new. So, as you can see, Juggles is out there in the water. Apparently, if I mount it and start a recording, it is enough to throw my throw my shoulder pad into the water. So I have to go and rescue him. Come on, Juggles. That's the one. Okay, so we'll start by placing as many of these in my inventory as possible. And backtrack over here and fill in some of this. Whoops. Another good start to a video where I misplace the first item I try and put down. It's always the way. Now I just want to make sure these line up. I have a feeling that one didn't quite snap. No, it does look okay. Yeah, go up a little bit. Go through his legs, watch out for his boulders. And this is actually a little bit easier than doing it on land, this particular slide place, because it keeps up a little bit of the momentum. It makes it a little bit easier to actually do. So the outside layer of foundations, I think I will mostly leave. I won't hide those ones. I'll see what it looks like when I've got everything in place a bit more. That is far too many. Let's lose 5 of those. Back into the 4 slot. And let's get up to... Oh no, I haven't actually placed the top ones around here either. Never mind. In fact, I do believe I'm carrying fins. I am. That'll make this job a lot easier. Whoops. Oh, it's going a lot faster than I expected. I swear I'm going sideways as fast as I was going forward there. Oh, I think I just ran into the golem. Always a good sign. You sir can follow me. This is actually slowing me down having fins doing this part. Getting to and from the golem will be a lot quicker. He's looking a little bit hurt from his jump into the water. They do not like fall damage. I had a really good golem once. Really awesome. I don't think it was legit. What happened was I was playing on a server and somebody I didn't actually know was an admin on the server that I was playing on. He used to be an old admin or something like that. He hadn't played in a long time and I stumbled across a golem that was claimable, and the rule was, you know, if you don't claim, so if you leave your dinos long enough to get claimed, you know, they were yours. I have to go and replace with some regular walls now. So yeah, I claimed this one particular golem and it was ridiculous. Now, if my suspicions are correct, now I know a bit more about Ark, I would say that he had set the imprint quality of the golem, which you don't really get. So by setting the imprint golem on the golem, it upped his stats something wicked. He was super fast, he could carry so much, and I thought it was great. I started jumping him off things, and my other half was walking past the computer and I said, hey, watch this, which you know by the fact that I say, hey, watch this, that something obviously was going to go wrong, because that's like everybody's famous last words. So I said, hey, watch this, and jumped him off a cliff into the water. Now, unbeknownst to me at the time, golems don't float. And obviously that's a bit of a mistake, but to make matters worse, actually can I take a whole stack? To make matters worse, the spot that I jumped off, apparently the drop off there was significant, and I mean like really deep. I pretty much jumped off the cliff, landed where I thought the beach should be. Instead of the beach, I ended up in a chasm. I don't think it's going to snap quite where I want it to. I ended up in a chasm which dropped me to the bottom of the ocean. Oh, really? Sometimes when you're picking those up, when they're stuck in a wall, you'll end up picking up the main wall. So yeah, I fell to the very bottom of the ocean, and on the way down, bugger it, I was panicking. It was like, do I jump off? Do I not jump off? I don't have scuba gear. I'm already so deep that there's no way I can swim to the surface, because golems sink like crazy. So I was going through my panic stations, and I think I eventually did consider going through with the jump off, and before I actually managed to jump off, hit the bottom of the ocean, and the fall damage alone killed the golem, and I was so gutted because it was such an awesome golem. Probably not legit, but it was still really good. I couldn't believe it. As soon as it happened, I was like, of course I said, hey, look at this, right beforehand. So disappointed in myself. I'm not one to usually show off, it's just, it looked really cool when you jump off something on a golem and it's just sort of flying through the air. When you've got a super fast golem and it's flying through the air, it looks even more impressive. Except in this case where it fell to its death and died, along with me. I think I ended up managing to go and get my stuff back. Can't quite remember. It died and I didn't, that's what happened. So I ended up at the bottom of the ocean with no scuba, all my gear on me, and the only thing I could think of doing was I'd had a tech transmitter on me. So I whipped the tech transmitter out, put that on the ground, and deposited all my stuff into the obelisk. Thankfully I had enough space in there because I actually used the tech transmitter as a toolbox for a very long time. I haven't lately. Actually a habit I should get back into because it's extremely handy. So yeah, I had to go and pick up the tech transmitter later on, but it was much easier to go back when I had all my gear, all my armor and whatnot. I'd have been gutting to lose my character because I'm pretty sure I had a 600% rifle. I'm trying to think of what I actually had on me at the time. It was the island map, I remember that. Oh, really? Both of them? Okay. It was, I'm pretty sure it was the island map, and it was... Are you stuck? If you're looking at the map, the very bottom left island, there was a cliff, there's a cliff on the back side of it. And that's the spot that I jumped off. If you know the spot that I'm talking about, you'll know the drop off I mean as well. It's a pretty deep spot. Of all the places I could have jumped off into the water, that was probably one of the worst. So this gets a little bit repetitious after a while. Obviously I'm going to have to go through and do the remodeling, which is going to be loads of fun. I've just realised yet again I've forgotten to set the timer for this video. Getting to be a real annoying habit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on this guy and I'm going to Alt Tab. Now the video is going to stop while I just check the time. So I'm 10 minutes in. Set my start timer now. Okay, so this will keep us on track. It's all nicely filled in. Now I'm going to need a reasonable size space to fit a mosasaur in there. I should be able to fit a squid in there, no worries as well. Now the unfortunate side of this is the dynamic gate. I can't actually spawn quite as easily as I would like. I'm going to have to actually do some spawning. I think I might have to do that off camera, or off recording at least. I'll probably get all the gear ready and make sure I've got enough stuff to do it. Okay, so oh, he's probably got stuff on him still. I better offload him. Oh, I don't know why I'm hopping off this guy carefully. I don't take full damage. I've got infinite stats on. So I'm going to put a top on the wall. So all the way around there will be a bit of a walkway. I'm not going to do that just yet. Let's just take all these off here. Oh, he's got some... That's all the heaviest things off him. I'll just pop him over here. Apparently I'm still really heavy. Oh, he's on follow, isn't he? So I'll lose the tech elevators for now. And I'll go to the misc one and then I can drop off. I'm going to need those. Yeah. In fact, I'm probably going to need more than those. I'll carry what I can and wait. The modeling gun, I've got the transparency gun. Okay, let's go swimming. I'll do it from the inside. So for those of you that haven't done anything with the transparency guns in there, they're really handy. The first thing you do is set what you want. So in this respect I'm going to go opaque, and then right click and it'll save the settings. So now what I can do is just click on everything. Now what I might do is just do this as a swim around like this. If I have to go up and down, it's going to take longer. Now I had originally thought about leaving, making the foundations transparent around the edge, but I think once I do that it's gonna... Why are you not working? Oh, I must be server saving. But yeah, if I make them invisible it's gonna look like the walls floating off the ground. I could leave one of the models set on the back side, so the very outside foundation piece was still visible, but at the same time I think that's going to be a lot of work to get a very basic effect. If I was actually going to live in this base for a while, I'd probably do it just for the sake of having everything nice and tidy. Oops, I accidentally right clicked. Reset my settings. This gun is amazing, it's changed glass so much. I remember when you actually had to manually set glass and it was pretty rough. You never used large glass areas because setting them was a real pain. Some of the guns that the S Plus use it just changes the game so much. There's a few things I was really surprised that got added, like the command gun, which apparently allows you to enable or disable wandering. Like, I get how useful. Oops, accidentally right clicked again. I get how useful it could be, but I was really surprised that it got added because structures plus, it's not really a structure. Like, I get this one's added because it helps with a structure. I'm not saying it shouldn't be in the S Plus. It just surprised me when I heard that it was there. That one did get placed wrong, but never mind. So from here I'm going to the model gun, and now I can actually see all of glass. Now I actually clicked the wrong one there. Okay, so it's the same thing again. I would like to see a few things added to Structures Plus. Just personally, you know. Why is it not clicking? Oh, okay. Occasionally I find that my mouse will click somehow off the screen, must be onto my desktop or something, and the mouse cursor will appear for me and I can't actually do anything within the game. So hopefully it didn't pause the record there and give that funny video that happens when I alt tab. Oh, now this is looking really cool. It's actually, I think this is going to be the first time I've done such a large expanse of straight glass that's been made opaque. Usually I'll leave it clear, but on this occasion I decided I wanted to make it a solid piece. The reason I normally make it clear is so that if you're taking a creature out of a water pen, you can see what's outside first to make sure there's no jellyfish. But being in the bay here, no jellyfish actually spawn here, which is really good, because I really don't like them. I'm super paranoid when it comes to jellyfish. I remember the very first time that I didn't encounter them. I had a tribe mate who was taming a plesiosaur, and I'm not a hugely great tamer, I will admit it. When it comes to Ark, I can build, but the rest of it, it's a bit up in the air. Like, I can make do. I know how to tame certain things and can do a pretty reasonable job. I'm not very good at taming things without equipment on me, and the guy that I was tribed with, he was pretty good at taming, and I think that was the one I ended up taking the Quetzal out. Oh, that looks really cool. Looks like a giant fish tank. I took the Quetzal out and was hovering in the water so he could get onto the Quetzal and then access like the resources that he needed to do the tame. So we got all that sorted and tamed it up. Not 5 minutes later we were on the way back to the base so he could store it, and jellyfish. And he's not the first person I know to have had an encounter like that with a jellyfish, where they've just finished taming something and it's dead. And oh look, I got a new, it's dead. Yeah, I don't like the fact that a tame could die so easily in the game. I do think there is a little bit of a screwy mechanic there, because for how long it takes to tame something, you don't really want it to die that quickly. Like, I could understand if he had an epic battle like half an hour long and lost it, but it was like zap, it knocked him off, a few more zaps, he just couldn't get anywhere near it, and before you knew it, a few more had turned up and it was dead. He was gutted. I was pretty gutted too, because, you know, I'd never had a plesiosaur before, so I was looking forward to, you know, having a quick muck around on it and see what they're like. If I'd known what they were like, I wouldn't have worried so much about it. I'm not a big plesiosaur fan. I really like mosasaurs. They are pretty fun to play with. What I'm actually going to be trying out is basilisk. Now, I want to do some more testing with it, but a friend of mine had a go at testing it for me and reckons that... Oh, that's... Did I do that over there? I did. Fortunate. What was I saying? I like Mosa. Yeah, pretty sure it was something along those lines. I really like that. Oh yeah, the basilisk. Right. Yeah, he said that the basilisk don't really get stunned by jellyfish. I'd asked him if he'd actually tested it, so he went off to have a go with it. And I believe he said that it didn't really stun it properly. So it'd be really awesome to have a proper go myself and actually try. Not that I don't believe him, I just like to see that there's no other like factors that might be involved. Oops. Because I'm not a really big fan of the basilisk. Basilosaurus. Starting to get annoying with how many names there are that are similar. Yeah, I mean they're pretty cool looking creatures and whatnot, but they're not very exciting to me. Everyone has their favourite dino and least favourite dinos. I tell you what, my least favourite dinos are probably Troodons, because they have wrecked my world far too many times. Oh man, I've been pissed off at those things. I remember playing on the first server I played on. For some reason, Troodons always spawned in bigger groups. Started out as 3s, then you'd see 6s and sometimes 9s. With that many Troodons, it is hell. So the number of times where I literally just walked out my front gate to, I think I was going to go and pick up a couple of stone. I was a bit short on a project that I was working on, and walked out the front gate, and not 3 feet from my gate I suddenly became unconscious and died. And then again. And I don't really see the point in taming them, especially when you have to feed them tamed. Oh, I ended up clicking outside the window again by the looks of it. The fact that you have to feed them tamed dinos, that's pretty weird. I really don't think they're worth taming. I seem to be getting off the screen again. Wish I knew a way of fixing that so it didn't happen. So this is starting to look really good. Everything's looking nice and spacious. It's one of the reasons I like using the glass for foundations, when you can, in certain instances, hide it. Like I said, I could remodel the outside. That's a lot of modeling, and when you're working in this kind of thing, you can't just do the straight click like I'm doing at the moment. And some of the placements will be fine, and other placements it will have rotated the foundation slightly depending on how it's snapped. And what you think might be a really easy to do task will take forever. How cool is that? That looks really, really neat. Okay, so that part's done. Next part will be resetting up this into the 3. Where are we? I will put it on this one actually. Seem to be getting 2 snap heights here. Okay, I'm moving, so Q click. Still seems to be giving me a different snap, so out for a moment. So yeah, I might just stay out of the water. Seems to be fairly easy to click from here. Oh, that's cool, the coal that is stuck in the pen highlighted. That's one of the troubles with the glass though, is some things look a bit funny. Like if you've got a torch, glass seems to make the torch vanish, or at least the flame. I've seen it happen on a couple of mods, so I'm assuming it's a built-in problem. So the idea here is, if you've got something in the sea pen and you want to get out, it's a lot easier to hop up if you've got a ramp. And the other thing I want to check is if I can quite easily snap something off here. Moving a bit quick for that. Okay, I can't do that underwater, I'm moving far too much. These things are a pain to snap at the best of times. Am I even getting the right snap? Awesome. Bit of delay there. And let's try that again. Let's take these boots off. Ah, they're flippers. Now, I'm not sure I've got enough. It might be fine. Oops. Right. I can't believe these are actually snapping into place. Okay, I am a little bit short. I'm gonna need just a handful more. Obviously I don't need ramps underneath the walkway. Man, that looks so bizarre. I'm not sure if I like it or not. I swear I can hear a dillo attacking something. Oh, who knows? I needed dry roofs. And that should be fine. See, yeah, the trouble is, stone you'll see obscured through water. But this is pretty, like, it stands out quite a lot. How that placed, I don't know. I think once it's got its lip around the top, it should be fine. I have to do this so that, well, not the specific part, but I need to line up some of the structures with the top. The golem is going to get stored in one of the towers. If you've seen some of the early videos, I mentioned that. I was like, what's attacking it? Oh, and I'm setting it on fire. Never mind, it's all good. Okay, again I can hear a... What on earth is the dillo I'm hearing? I just thought of something that I didn't do. Before I finish what I was just starting, just clear these away. So by hiding all those, the FPS should pick up again. Not that I've actually got the FPS indicator on, but when you make all the glass foundations invisible, you'll see a significant increase. At least I do. I'm going to need ceiling, wasn't it? You've still got space, that's good. Should be enough to go around. I'm still going to need some squares. 100 should be more than enough for that. Come on, finish leveling and start moving. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how I feel about glass. I may end up going through and retinting it so that it's slightly visible. Just so it's not quite so obtrusive. Oh, okay. Deselected the game again. That's fine. It has gone really dark. Let's reset to the time of day. 7 in the morning again. Charming. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of intruding a bit much on how things look. With how long it took, I might, if I do change it, I might do that off recording. I had originally planned to do all the modelling off camera. I say camera, off recording. I didn't really see the point on having all of it, especially when you got a lot of glass. I'm about to run out of try just before I get to the square. It's unfortunate, but I got most of the way around, so that's cool. A stack of those. That's to slow you down. Now, did I snap it higher or lower? I snapped it higher. So let's keep it consistent. Being a little bit jumpy at the moment. Probably I'm trying to build too fast, but there we go, it seems to have settled down. The guy's trying to be a boxer. All that training, I don't think it's going to go to anything. There's nobody on this world. You have to go and box with the dinos. And it's deselected Ark again. So it may be possible that when that happens, it might make the video go a little bit funny. So I do apologize if it does. I might have an experiment with the glass next. Got 20 minutes left of this video. Oops, double layered that one. Okay, so that's all in place. Now I was wondering about... can I actually get back up here? Beautiful. I was wondering about putting railings around the outside, but I quite like not having those. So... first things first, let's have a look at this glass, because it's not feeling right to me. Now what I need to do is find out how tinted it has to be to see it, but not so tinted that it looks so solid. Looks pretty good. What does that look like from above? That looks more like it. So the solid opaque is a little bit too much. I was going to leave this until and actually do it off cam, but I feel like I should do as much as I can on recording. This is where I make myself suffer for my mistakes. No, you must do it now. Fix it. I should reduce it looking quite so dominating. I'm not doing it in a pattern this time, I'm literally just randomly clicking. But you can probably hear the clicking of my mouse as I'm going. I'm not actually sure how much the mic picks up. It's As far as it goes, this mic is ridiculously cheap. When I first considered doing the videos, I went through hundreds and hundreds of listings on, we call it Trade Me. It's basically our country's version of eBay. And I went through auction after auction of mics and found nothing that really looked quite what I was after. And I eventually, got a bit of lag there. Yeah, it's about 15 minutes since the last one. I eventually found a couple that were popping up on multiple places. Like I actually looked on eBay. We don't buy anything from eBay because of the expensive stuff coming from overseas. It's actually cheaper for America to send to New Zealand than New Zealand send to America by a ridiculous amount. But I found a couple of microphones that were showing up on all the cheap sites. And they were cheap microphones, like one was $5, no, $8.99, and the other one was about 12 or 15 bucks. And I looked at them and I managed to find a few few reviews of the very mics, and there was a dude actually using the mics to do his recording, and this is actually the cheapest of the two. I actually reckon it sounded more like what I wanted, so I didn't buy it until I actually found a review that kind of gave me an idea as to what it's like. And for like a $9 mic, it ended up being about 15 bucks with shipping, but for the price I paid, it's actually a really good mic. The stand was, yeah, that was a bit useless. It stood maybe 15 centimeters off the desk. It wasn't set up very well at all, so I ended up pulling it apart. I originally planned to replace the entire stand, but what I did is I removed the bolt from the pivot, and we always have wire in our house, so I extended it with 14 gauge, I think it's 14, might have been 16 gauge aluminium, galvanized wire. Okay, so I feel like we're getting somewhere now. So we're still getting an effect from this. It's far less dominating though. I feel like I'm actually seeing through it a bit more. Now, what does it look like from the air? That's going to be the telltale. Okay, actually that looks pretty good. You can just see it through enough to see terrain and whatnot around. I think I'm happy with that. Okay, so from here I am actually going to fix some railings on the side of this. I have wanted to do this for a while and it's actually been bugging me. And we'll do some weight. Those. I reach the ceilings. Oh, I can reach walls. Do I have any walls? Yes, I do. I also have ramps, which I don't need. Now, there's something I'm thinking of doing along here. I'm going to do some columns from, if you've seen my PvE columns video, there's a few in there that I particularly like. But I think I'm going to do something a little bit different, a little bit more basic, to flank this I'm still wondering whether or not I should actually do it as part of the recording. Now here's the question, do I end it there? Oops. As far as it goes, this is only for players, because any dino of a reasonable size is just going to step over this anyway. Yeah, I'm not sure I will do columns down the side actually, because if I do it around the side I'll have to do it around the C-pen as well, otherwise it'll look out of place. Yeah, I think it's going to be the way it goes. Okay, so I've got this piece here as a solid block. There is actually space underneath. I'm not planning to have it usable at this point. If I was using this base, I'd probably end up opening it up eventually. But let's face it, this is a huge C-pen. This will be able to fit more than enough stuff in it. I don't need to open that other one up. I think it's going to be fine. So, here is the problem now, is where do the elevators go for the power? Lose some of this, let's jump on her. So I've got a rough idea, but I need to be sure exactly where it is. Now, there's two ways of doing this. Do I have a lot on me? Now, the way I was thinking of was quite literally counting where everything is, or let's go from there. I can just literally build a wall down and not have to worry about counting, because chances are if I count it out I will lose count or forget what I counted, and you guys will be on camera going on watching this going, well, you only just did it, why do you not remember? This way I can just place downwards and damn it. Come get me. I need a rescue. Wow, that is a really long way down, isn't it? Every time there's lightning on this game, I swear you hear me say, oh, isn't that really cool? I think this is an easier way than counting. I mean, it depends on what I'm doing as to which I prefer doing. If it's a small area, I'll quite happily just count it out, but it doesn't always line up quite like that. And if I even got the right tower, that'd be real bad, eh? Golem, industrial forge, pit. Maybe that's the greenhouse. Not sure, but yeah, this one is the right one. Nope, too far away. Okay. Now I've got something to work from. Of course, this guy won't actually land here, so it's incredibly useful. I'm going to need some try. Now, I did it on that side, didn't I? As you can see, there is a discrepancy. It does happen. Now, I remember which direction I actually snapped these elevators up the top, just to make sure when I went through and this I could make it easier. So I'll pull these two out. Let's lose some of that. I'm going to need a square and more of those. I need some more tick elevators. No, it's that one there. That is really high. There and there. There and there. Add that onto my hotbar. Nope. I find it interesting that they don't have to be perfectly aligned. I've done a few where they haven't lined up, and oh man, this really jumps around. They're relatively close. This one, the one up the top, that managed to jump. Maybe it's the height between them. Oh, there we go. Make this opaque. I don't know if the transparency gun works on this. No. Eek. And obviously I'm going to have to make this a little bit wider just to hide the evidence. I'm actually really happy to be getting this part done at the same time as being able to complete the C-pen. I'm rather happy about that. I had a suspicion it might take me a bit longer, but that actually went pretty well. Okay, so I've got that aligned on there, so on this side I'm going to add, and I'm going to also add, oops, and one more on this side, so then this should be 4 wide. Golems are pretty wide creatures. Now, this one here I hadn't planned to do the full dome on. That's been sticking. No, it's just... I didn't plan to do it. I wonder about sticking railings around the outside of this one. I don't know. I might like it without the railings. Actually, that's quite cool. I'm going to get a golem. Now, if I drop a golem in here, that's going to ruin my day. And there we go. A little bit of room to spare. Pop off. Go down. I need to pull that section off. Because once I add the dynamic gate in, I'm going to make that go to the top of from the foundation level all the way up to the top of the wall there. Yeah, I can see an arm sticking through the wall. Must be slightly off center. Crash. Yeah, I've stuck these guys in here before, and usually they're fully encased. Not this particular build, but another build where I had a bit of a... I think I had force field walls around the side of it. That is looking great. It really is. So I still need to go through and do the wall, the windows and whatnot for the lower structure, because that's been sitting there waiting to be done for a while. I need to do the remodeling of the glass around the bottoms. So things are looking pretty spectacular. I'm gonna leave today's video at that. So if you liked today's video, make sure you hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't already. There is a Discord in the description if you want to join our Discord and chat with us about building. I say us, me, other builders that join, with any building questions you might have. I'm happy to help out where I can. The more people join, maybe the less I'll be able to help, who knows. But take care and enjoy your building.